Hello, I'm Deborah Davis, member of Christ Church. Advent Fest has been perhaps my favorite tradition at the church, and it's important to keep it going, even though we can't be together to celebrate. So we came up with 2 crafts that you can make at home without any specialty supplies to make your own unique wreath and candles to celebrate the 4 weeks leading up to the birth of Christ. Let's get started. Today, we will be crafting the wreath and candles to represent the wreath we typically make at the church. The Advent wreath is used to hold the candles that we use to count down the weeks until Christmas. With a typical Advent wreath, 1 candle is lit on the first Sunday of Advent, 2 are lit on the second Sunday, and so on, with the 5th candle lit on Christmas Day. Obviously, that is not recommended with these candles, but they can still represent our preparation for Christmas. First, we will make the wreath. For this, you will need the following supplies. You will need paper plate, red ribbon, green tissue paper, about 3 sheets, red tissue paper, white glue that dries clear, scissors, and that's about it. Now, these are all suggested items. Don't let this limit your creativity. Feel free to use glitter, ornaments, little birds, anything you have to decorate the wreath the way you would like. Next, we will be making the candles. For this, you will need white poster board, or really any paperboard from a box you have around the house. I recommend paperboard because cardboard can be tough to cut. Construction paper or colored paper, some white paper, a black marker, red marker or crayon, and yarn or string in as many or as few colors as you want. Again, these are all suggested items. Use your creativity and what you have around you to make it personal. First, we start with a paper plate. Cut a hole out of the center, whatever size you like. The smaller the hole, the more space that you'll have to cover. So be thoughtful how much space that you want to use. Next, if you want to hang the wreath, grab about a 12-inch piece of ribbon. Tie the ribbon around the top of the plate. Leave about a 4-inch gap at the top, and you can tie another knot when you're done and use this to hang the wreath. Next, we're going to rip up the paper. Don't be overly precious here. Tear up small squares and triangles about 1.5 inches in size. The more irregular and unusual, the more unique and realistic it will be. We're using about approximately 3 sheets of green paper. Feel free to do more. And this is a great point to get family members, especially little kids, involved. Next, grab your glue and spread out glue in sections. I have a brush here that makes it easy to apply. So I get just a little bit on there, and working in sections, I am putting glue in small areas. This way, when I go to apply the tissue paper, I don't have to rush. I can just focus on one section at a time. And again, the more crumpled up, wrinkled, and wispy the pieces are, the more realistic it will look. Continue the entire way around. As you see, you might need to wrap up some more, and feel free to come back and fill in the little spots that you missed. You might need to come back with some glue to make that happen. After you've completed the entire wreath, you can add decorations. In this wreath, we actually created some berries by taking red tissue paper and creating little bowls. We rolled up a small bowl inside of a larger piece to give it a nice smooth appearance, put some glue down, and then adhered the berry into the greenery. Feel free to add any other decorations, let dry, and you're done. Now let's make the candles. Let's begin by cutting a piece of paperboard or poster board. I find that wider and shorter is better because the finished product, when it's standing, ends up being more stable. If it's too long and thin, it can have a tendency to bend with the glue. And feel free to make your candles different colors and different shapes. It makes it a lot of fun. Then cut out a piece of construction paper that is smaller, but about this, close in size to the poster board, so that you can have the outline of the candle on the poster board. Take your glue stick or your white school glue and make a nice box on the inside, not going all the way to the edge because you don't want glue coming out the edges. And adhere your construction paper. Again, we don't want to be overly precious because the more irregular, the more rustic it's going to be and the more fun. Next, we cut out a yellow circle. If you want an even circle, I used a glass. Feel free to use any other round object you have to trace the shape and then cut that. And then freehand a sort of a flame shape. You'll see my drawing on the back, but when I glue that down, that line is going to disappear. Then we stick this to the candle underneath the construction paper, like this. And we draw a wick. Around the wick, I used a red marker, but if you have a crayon, an orange crayon, a red crayon, any type of crayon to make the heart of the flame. And then we decorate the candle. So I have a multicolored yarn here. You can use any type of yarn, thread, you could use multiple yarns, but I actually take it and I'll hold the end here to make it easy to tie. And I go around somewhere between 3 and 5 times, kind of irregularly, like this. Cut the yarn and we tie. And our candle is done, but candles need to stand up. So this is a piece of poster board that I cut that's the width of the candle. And what I do is I hold it up like this and I cut about halfway through the base so that when I remove it and I line it up, it slides right on. And then I can adjust and it will stand. And your candle's done. Like I said before, I made 5 candles so that I have one for each week and then one for Christmas Day. Thank you for joining me to celebrate Advent. I hope you've enjoyed making your own wreath and candles at home. We wish you a happy, healthy, and wonderful Advent season. Merry Christmas.